I believe in the heavens above, and I believe in truth. I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you. So tell me, do you feel the way that I feel? And tell me, would you give what I'm willing to give? That I believe in honesty, and I believe it's true. And I believe if you set it free, it will come back to you. And I believe that things were meant to really be. And I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you.
Hey guys.
Hello, welcome, Cancer Kickers. With Cynthia Brooks, I'm Vince Easley. Also, Ian Jacqueline on the line. Welcome. Glad to have you, Ian. And Cynthia will be added here in a moment, I think.
Right.
Like to remind everybody that this program is not to provide medical advice, professional diagnostics, opinion, treatment, or services to you or any other individual. The show is to provide stories and general information for educational purposes only. The information provided on this show is not a substitute for medical or professional care. You should not use the information in place of a visit, call, or consultation with your healthcare provider. The radio network is not liable or responsible for any advice, course of treatment, or any other information you obtain through this show, as the show is offered for educational purposes only. Hi, Ian. Welcome. How you doing, brother?
Hey, good to hear your voice again, Vincent. Right on. Good to be here. And that being said, with you, what you just said, I have to add to it. If you're going to talk to a doctor, try to find one that doesn't work in America, Canada, or Europe. Try and find one that works in Mexico or Germany or some of the Bahamas that doesn't have the AMA or the FDA to worry about when they make their decisions for your health. So it's okay to consult your doctor after listening to me and other people like me. But just know that whoever taught them probably was Big Pharma, and that's why they know what they know. So keep your mind open, folks, and be your own best advocate. Good to be back, man. I miss you guys. How are ya? Am I alone? Hello? Hello?
I'm trying to get Cynthia in, and she's on my cell phone right now. Try again, Cynthia, till you see why radio. All right, thanks. Oops, I just hung up on her. So, okay. Ian, why don't we tell your story about how you found out about cancer cures with Cynthia while we're waiting to bring her in.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been on this time slot. We used to have like your cancer here now. We got the Cancer Kickers, and things. I've been busy working on the screenplay for Hemp Boxer. For those of you who don't know, hemp oil, cannabis hemp oil is a cancer cure. And I'm writing a screenplay where my character, I'm going to make a comeback as an actor, comes out of retirement from fighting to raise money for cannabis hemp oil for his daughter who has leukemia. So while people are watching, Ian Jacqueline come back and fight in the ring, and only now the Octagon, of course it is movies, I'm a little too old I think to do it for real, but they'll be able to see how to cure cancer too, and they won't even know it. Like they'll walk out of the movie theater going, well, that was a great fight film, but wait a minute, did he just cure his daughter cancer with marijuana? So, and the whole thought process behind that is to raise the consciousness of the masses and try and get control of the planet once again in the big situation. And like in planning our lovely Cynthia Brooks yet. I will take that as a no. I see you guys have the same kind of technical issues, but that's internet radio. God bless it. Where would we be without it?
Right. Okay. I'm trying to get her. Add her again. Let me try again. Add in.
That's okay. You keep working. I'll just tell the people what I've been up to because I don't have much time. I gotta be out of here by 20 after. Let's see. Okay, so I told you about the hemp boxer. I've got a great scriptwriter helping me with that, named Sam Bucko, and he's from the Midwest, I believe, and him and I are collaborating on it. And with some of my true life patients, like Eric Mange, who's been working with his daughter. The whole script idea is coming from their sort of scenario where at first the government wasn't going to allow them to do anything but the chemo radiation surgery. And then in an unprecedented case, they actually did. They let him off the hook of that and he's been able to pursue alternatives. And so that's only my film's not going to be that simple. It's not going to be the easy way out. They're going to fight it till the end, like they did with Jane Matthews' family and some of the other families out there. So that is the film. The documentary, I Cure Cancer Part 2, probably be called Baby Killers, is going to be the documentary version of that story. It's going to show how parents in America, Canada, Europe, civilized world, when their children get cancer, even if they know how to cure cancer like I do, so I've been studying it for 17 years, thanks to Cynthia curing herself 17 years ago, I could not use any of my information or knowledge on making my children healthier to the point where they would actually get rid of the cancer without losing any body parts for their life. I can't do that because we live in America and Canada and Europe and places that are run by the 1% or whatever you want to call them. And my child would die because, or at least be sick and not helped in the way I think they should have been helped for their cancer. And if they did survive, it wouldn't matter for me because I'd be in jail or dead for fighting the system trying to take my child away. So I figured before I have a child, I'm going to go ahead and try and change the rules, change the laws, wake the people up. And then I don't have to go through that stress of ever worrying about it. If my child did get cancer and I wanted to treat them holistically, I wouldn't have to go through that nightmare. So, let's see. That was the documentary. That's coming together, but I still haven't got funding for that, folks. If you want to go to icurecancer.com and donate, buy a video, buy I Cure Cancer Part 1, because any money goes from that to Part 2. That would be great. Let's see, what else besides the book. I'm working on a book. That's sort of last on the menu, trying to get the screenplay done first. But, trying to put the book down. For those of you that know me, and I've sent you pieces of the book, because I've got pieces of the book all over my desktop, and if I see somebody struggling with pH, I'll copy and paste a bit of it for that. And if they have something else going on, I'll copy and paste that. But eventually, you should have it all in a hardcover book way. Just, trying to do so many things at one time. Kind of crazy. But I want to thank my friends and family and the people out there that are helping me. I'm learning to delegate
Is that Ian?
energy. Aha, there's my darling. How are you, Cynthia?
Good. I can't figure out why we couldn't get in on Skype.
Oh, what? Oh, you just had these typical technical problems. That's okay.
Can you hear me, Vincent?
Oh, yeah, we're all good right here. And so our secret formula for the day is cider. Inside joke between the three of us. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah. Oh, that was hysterical. Okay, I got to tell the people this one. Because Cynthia, and we're so tight, I can say it. Well, Cynthia knew I was out to dinner last night. And of course, she has to call during dinner, and I try to scramble to get the phone. I missed it, and I get the message, and she's like, "Tomorrow, I want you to call into the show and talk about your." Hold on, I just dropped my headphones while I was doing that. I want you to call in tomorrow and talk about your penis or something. It's like, I'm not doing that.
But you are right now.
Well, yeah, you got what you wanted, yeah, but I forget what I was supposed to say about it.
Well, that's a first.
Yeah, I think we'll skip that whole joke. But, okay, well, let's talk. You got me for about 15 minutes here, Donald. What's happening?
Okay. Because I came in late, I just want to make sure Vinny had a chance to read our disclosure, all our legal schmeagle stuff.
Oh, yes. And I actually added to it, saying that if you are, from America, Canada, or Europe, we're taught by this. Put yourself and be your own best advocate. Just had to add to it. Hello.
Say again, there's a little tiny feedback.
It was just a small joke. I just added to the disclosure saying, be your own best advocate.
Right. Right.
Well, absolutely. Everybody has a responsibility to educate themselves and not try to just accept what anybody says on mainstream or alternative. So I'd suggest, especially if you or someone you love has cancer, to investigate the possibilities.
Yeah,
all of them, absolutely.
Just to catch you up, since you're off, I basically held down the fort for you with explaining what I've been doing lately, where I'm at with my film, with my documentary.
Great.
And the hemp box and all that stuff. So we're pretty much caught up there, so we can just wing it from here. It's a beautiful day outside.
Awesome. And did you tell everybody that our wonderful friend Joni Abbott is in town as well?
Oh, I have not got that. Thank you. I knew there was something missing. Yeah, Joni Abbott's in town. I should be. They just called me and they want me to go to the beach, and I'm like, I got to do radio for a little bit, then I got a class, and I got other things, but I'll catch up with you tonight. But yeah, from naturalnews.com, one of the one and only Joni Abbott is in town getting a makeover with Raul Rodriguez, his wife, Jury. It's all for free. They flew her out here, and they know how much she does for other people that they wanted to give back a little bit, and she's already lost something like 70 pounds on her own. And Raul's like a professional trainer. He's a guy who's been rehabbing my hip for me and stuff. So he's just giving her Cub One style. And we were there last night. Did her workout in the daytime. Did her makeover at night. And then went out on the town last night. I can't wait. We'll be here all week working on her physicality, and then maybe building into a show that a number of us can be a part of. We're trying to, my vision is similar to Raul and a few others that we're talking to. Is sort of like the ultimate fighter house, where all the athletes come into the house, they live there, they train, they fight, they battle, and the winner takes all. Well, kind of thinking the same thing, but, it's a battle for your own life, whether it be, doesn't matter what disease you have. You have cancer, or AIDS, or Crohn's, or whatever, anything that's not working for you on your system, come and stay with us for 6 weeks, a month, whatever it takes. And we shoot it while we're, and we'll have different rooms. One person has cancer, one person has, wants just a beauty makeover because they're trying to lose weight, or one person's got, anything. What's funny is we could have a house full of, I kind of reminded me of Christmas Island, where all the mystics go to Christmas Island that didn't get chosen to be slaves. Kind of our own little misfit house, but we all are spiritual and grounded and build ourselves back up from the ground, from nothing. And you do it spiritually, mentally, and physically, and capture it all on tape. And even if it never got on the network, at least it could be on the internet for other people to see what people are doing. Actually see it. That's very important, I think, for people to see somebody making the shakes, making the blending, going and getting the vegetables, making it real. So that's kind of what's in the brewing. Who knows what'll happen.
That's so important. It really is, because, again, Cynthia's going to go to the consciousness of whatever you're trying to improve in your life, or whatever your desire is in your life. It always does boil down back to a belief system. And what helped me tremendously when I was curing myself of cancer is I started seeking out other individuals who had already cured themselves of cancer using only alternative medicine, not doing any surgery, chemotherapy, nothing. And once, I started talking to this person and then that person, and it doesn't take long, then law of attraction kicks in, and the ball starts rolling, and more people were contacting me. And, that's why I think what you're doing, Ian, with that show is spectacular, because I started getting a lot of confidence that I could heal myself after talking to these people, And they were all different cases, as they always are. I just remember one woman up in Wyoming. I've mentioned her before, but she was spectacular. She had cervical cancer, and she was pregnant. So they could not do surgery, and there was no way she was going to let them. If, she says if it comes down to the me or the baby, it's the baby. So they're not going to do anything to interfere with this pregnancy. And she was actually just doing, the juicing and taking specific supplements, some that had incorporated aloe vera, oddly enough, or not oddly enough, but she wasn't doing half of the crazy things that I was doing, and she cured herself in a very short amount of time. And that really, once, oh, look what you did. Oh, you can do it. It builds confidence when you're frightened and don't know what to do. And that's a horrible place to be in. But when you see other people, that have already accomplished what you're after, it really helps the belief system kind of restructure, reframe, and you start believing in yourself and believing that you can do it. And it goes right back to the old statistics that, years ago it was said that no man could ever break the 4-minute mile. And then I forget the gentleman who did, but he did break the 4-minute mile, and then like the next day 10 more people did. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with the sound barrier. That could never be broke. Finally it was. And then the next day, that week, everybody's breaking the sound barrier. So it's just the same thing. It's just that the consciousness and the belief system and helping each other that, you can do it. And so I think it's great whatever medium, and all the different things. That's why we're here, to help each other, to watch each other, and encourage each other and inspire each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I think I remember the joke. The joke was something about what do I do with my penis? I can't get laid with it anymore, and you have the answer for that, I think, Vincent. What was it?
Soak it in cider.
Soak it in cider? Soak it in cider? Oh, soak it in cider. Oh!
Apple cider vinegar.
Okay, I knew I wasn't going to do that joke to you guys, but I did it anyway.
You gave it up. Lady Parks gave it up.
Hey, you know what I found interesting recently in one of my conversations is that the reason why people do get well when they go to their doctor that receive Western medicine, it's because it's all placebo. It turns out everything's BS, folks. It's all about what you believe and what's in your mind. So what I'm thinking is, instead of going to an MD doctor that's going to give you drugs, go to an ND, as in Nancy, the ND. Go to an ND, naturopathic doctor. And now you're going to get the placebo effect because you're going to believe he's a doctor. So there you go. You're going to be healed. But he's actually going to give you stuff that will heal you, like food and herbs and medicine. So that's my latest inclination is to tell people, drop your MD, get an ND, baby.
Absolutely. It's what the deal is you're making an environment unfriendly for cancer. And cancer requires, first of all, it needs food, which mostly is sugar, and it needs a an acidic environment in the body. So by changing your diet and your lifestyle, also your beliefs, by prayer and all this stuff has great power. So there's a lot of aspects that need to be looked at. And
well, absolutely, because there's a lot of aspects that caused that dis-ease in the first place. So many times people really just want to blame it on diet, but there's so many contributing factors that will tie into whatever it is that trips you into, this disease, whatever it is. And so all of those factors have to be looked at. And sometimes they're tough. Some people, it's really tough to look at. But, if you want to continue, in this body, that you have to look at all of the equation because, I know people who are in their 90s and they have the most acidic diet you could ever imagine, never had any kind of occurrence of cancer, So that's what the confusion is everybody still kind of, not everybody, there's many people who still want that black and white answer. And there's never going to be one because we're all so different and we have such different life experiences, different body chemistries, different thought forms, different point of view and the way we feel. We can all be looking 10,000 of us can be looking at the same sculpture, and we're all going to have some slanted, different point of view on that, and we have that point of view on our life and our perceptions. So, you know, the body used to be treated, and the being used to be treated until, you know, around the 30s, and then they started trying to come up with blanket cures. And there's still some work to be done, even though more and more people, as I've seen in my 18 years now, more and more people are coming to understand that. And it's a good thing, because when you understand that, then you start to understand your individuality. You start to understand yourself better and your own perceptions. And it's really sort of a new relationship with the self. And what you need emotionally, what you need spiritually, mentally, and what your body needs. And it's a good thing. So medicine is so highly individualized, and getting farther and farther away from these blanket cures that, you know, it might help to some degree, but it's rare that it's going to have, you know, a complete cure.
Let food be thy medicine, I believe is a really old quote. And surprisingly, when you consume foods like lemons that are acidic, and your body converts that to alkaline. So back to the, I would recommend the Bragg's apple, or the apple cider vinegar, organic expressed, propeller. How's that expressed? They kind of squeeze it out. However, anyways, very good for you to take that sort of thing daily.
Right. Now, hey guys, I got to run pretty soon, so I want to leave you one note. I almost forgot. Okay, my good friend Tony Dudley. This guy's a genius, man. He's so smart. He's great. I thought he was talking about this months ago. It's real quick because I got to run, but you take cannabis hemp oil and you combine it with the Budwig protocol. Anybody doesn't know what the Budwig protocol is, we'll check it out. You take cottage cheese, flaxseed oil, and you blend it all together, and somehow it magically takes that oil, cheese, fatty stuff and makes it water soluble. And that is a cancer cure in itself, supposedly, the Budwig diet. You mix it with cannabis hemp oil and the flaxseed oil, and you soak it overnight. You can go to it's called the Cannabis and Budwig Protocol on Facebook. It's a group called the Cannabis and Budwig Protocol by Tony Dudley. Go there, check it out. If you're taking cannabis hemp oil for your cancer, cancer is the best way to take it. Combine it with the Budwig. I'm telling you, folks, from what I hear, it's just killing it, literally. And it has no pun intended on that. It is killing cancer too, but as far as things cancer, it's killing it. The Budwig protocol. So on that note, I got to run, folks. God bless you all. Thank you for having me on today, and I'll be back whenever you want. You just keep me informed, okay, Cynthia?
That sounds great.
Thanks, Ian. Hey, post that on your wall, and I'll go grab the link if you got time.
Say that again?
Post that link to the protocol there if you got time on your wall. I'll go grab it.
Yeah, okay. Or just, you can easily, it's Cannabis and Budwig Protocol, because I'm kind of out and about today.
Okay.
So right on, folks. I love you. I love you all. Take care. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So, hi everyone. Welcome to Cancer Kickers. That was Ian Jacqueline. This show, formerly known as I Cure Cancer, and we asked him. We've been horsing around and having a great time. And those of you who've been listening, you all know how much I love to antagonize him, and I'm making a career out of it. So we were having fun last night, giving him a hard time. And thank you, Ian, so much for calling in, because everybody wants to know. You know what I mean? They want him to check in and see how his projects are doing and things like that. So
Ian forgot something. He's called back in.
What's that?
Ian forgot something, or he butt dialed us one.
Oh, did he?
I think he did. He butt dialed us.
Probably.
Let me try to hang up on him. We might hear something that hurt our ears. He hung up.
Yes.
He hung up.
Oh, okay. Hey, so I usually, that was just a little fun thing. I do like to start the top of the shows also with my thank yous. And sometimes Ian said I went on too much with my thank yous. I don't think you can ever say thank you enough. And on top of it, I would tell him I'm just practicing for when I get my Razzie Award.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I just actually, there's been some really wonderful people that have been helping me out. And I've been staying with my good buddy, one of my best buds, Carol Miller. She's just this amazing woman, and you guys all know I'm kind of on the road, and I've been staying with her, and she's been incredible. And she's just a wonderful, wonderful woman. But because now we're growing and expanding, and everything has to be legal schmeagle, I got to do this because I can't hold it in. She's this incredible. She's everything. She's a PhD, but she's very involved with real estate. She teaches all this stuff. But I guess now legally, if I say on air she's in real estate, I have to read her license number, which is 010-19243. That's the new law we didn't know about. So there it is. She is she specializes in everything, especially listening to me go on about my woes. But she does specialize in short sales, traditional sales, probate, foreclosure prevention, reverse mortgages. And she's been a real estate broker for 25 years and teaches pre-licensing courses for the state of California. She's amazing. She's just amazing. And she's working with this new company as well, which I really like this website because you don't have to talk to anybody. You can just go on this website if you're looking, like, to sell or you're just interested. You can just go in and poke around. And it's www.sanfernandovalleyandbeyond.com. Her name is Carol Miller, and if you want to contact her, you can reach her through that website. Once again, www.sanfernandovalleyandbeyond.com. And I think this is a really great group because, you know what I mean, they're not pushy, they're not, if you don't want to, you don't have to talk to anybody. You can just go in there and poke around. And if I can for a second, I'm going to try to get her in here just to say hello. She's just such a great girl, and I just really appreciate everything that she's done for me. Hey, Carol, you want to come in and give a shout-out? She's coming by, you guys. She's the greatest. She's so smart on so many different levels, and I just wanted her to come and say hi to everybody so you guys can see how sweet she is. Right there. It's just, we had to do by phone.
Oh, hi, everyone.
Hi!
Here I am, native Angelino, sitting with Cynthia in her studio.
Just Made Studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time here.
Yeah, we are.
And as she mentioned, if any one of you are interested in looking at some real estate or finding out some information, it's like no hassle. So go to the site, which again is www.sanfernandovalley and beyond. Yes, I thought since I've gone as far as Oceanside South, Fraser Park North, and Palm Springs East. So I'm not afraid to follow my clients around.
Right.
So back to Cynthia and all her healing stuff.
Thank you, Carol. Well, she's a great healer. You know what I mean? In itself is that she's helped so many people. She's an amazing person. So just like I said, I wanted to give her a big shout out. She's been so helpful to me, and it's just been wonderful. And she loves all this stuff too. She's juices, and you know what I'm saying. She's doing all this great stuff. I look in her fridge, and there's like vegetables jump out at you, which is really the key. You know what I mean? To always try to keep your body in that alkaline state. You know, even if there is no problem or you don't have anything jumping out right now, it's always great to try to get those fruits and veggies in and just keep that alkaline state, because if you keep that state and then there is a huge emotional bomb that goes off, your body is more prepared for it. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So I get so many questions about what should I do as preventative medicine, and I've been getting a lot of questions lately about there's just so much we're so bombarded the programming with cancer now, and like I said, I've had a lot of questions of like, how do I just kind of protect myself, or how do I just do the best to maintain my health, and so definitely keeping your body at that alkaline state. And I'll say it again, you can also, if you're curious, you can get the test strips now, the alkaline test strips, either the saliva or the urine strips. You can get them just about anywhere now. For sure, all your health food stores have them, and just kind of take a look. And I just want to make that disclaimer once again that, again, like I've known people in their 90s that they're the most acidic state, and there's no cancer to be found. So if that test strip comes back and it's a little too acid or whatnot, that's not a golden rule. That's why this is tough. There is no golden rule. So just if you're, I just want to put that warning out there. If it's a little bit, acidy, don't even sweat it. There's been plenty of times since I've been out of cancer, I did the test strip, and I was way acidy. And I was like, well, I guess I need to start juicing again. And it was no big deal, and cancer never came back for me. So much of, the reoccurrence is, what I'm seeing a great deal, honestly, is with the reoccurrences, is that it's not that people, they blame it, that they go off of their diet, and it's really not. It's kind of when, they get the clean bill of health, and then they go back to the lifestyle, meaning their personal interactions with others, their personal self-beliefs, their own behaviors. So much of that is some of the big contributing factors to cancer. And then on top of it, so they go back to that, and I've seen that, it's that thing that is going to throw you back into a challenge much more than just cheating on your diet, because people tease me now, and everyone's different, but my goal after I was about 5 years clean bill of health, my goal then was I was interested in quality of life. And I had just had a talk with somebody, another dear friend, just the other day. He was asking me about this, and he was asking me, isn't a balance the best thing to have? And it's like, absolutely. And I pointed out to him, and he recognized this, that there are some hypers, the hyper organic and hyper, like you have to juice and, and there's a pure water, and you can't go here and you can't go there. And when you really think about it, and you guys, a lot of us know these people, what's underneath that? What is the underlying factor of that? That is driven by fear. Think about it. So any fear, driven behavior could be a problem. Doesn't have to be, but could be. And, you have to take a look at that as well. And then we get into the really tough subjects, and I had another caller asking me about this. And the really tough subject, and what I've always said was my journey through cancer was not, how to cure myself of cancer. I thought it was at the time, but my true journey is the big question: what happens to me when I die? Nobody likes that. Nobody likes that question. Are you still there with me, Vinny?
I sure am. That's something that we can't actually see and touch, but, we have feelings, or we have spiritual experiences. So, people might go on and argue forever what happens to us after we die. Are we dead, or do we, go on to another place? But I think, as Ian was saying earlier, that a simple, positive belief or faith really goes a long ways in your attitude and for making that environment for healing. Because a lot of times what makes people sick in the first place is, like you were saying, is that that negative environment that we create for ourselves and our emotions.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's really okay, because we don't know better, meaning our parents taught it to us, their parents taught it to them, so on down the line, and so it goes. And so, if that's just what is, there's no right and wrong here. But it didn't work for me, so a point in time came when it was time for me to make a change and make a shift and break that chain that had been passed down through God knows how many centuries of, human interaction and examination of self and how we feel about self and our belief systems as well. And, I've heard so many people have contacted me that, they felt as though they got back to their faith, or that God healed them, and, whatever works. But for me, what happened was, as I've mentioned before, was that I was raised a very strict Catholic, and those rules and regulations started not working for me by the time I was 10. I was seeing a lot of, just for me, it was just that sector of Catholicism as well. Because, there's a lot of different Catholicisms now and practices as people and the population grows and expands. There's a lot of different rules and regulations that go along with it that they're expanding and changing as well, as we know. We've even seen Vatican reflect that. So that particular sector wasn't working for me at a very early age, and by 19, it definitely didn't work for me. So there's another contributing factor that I outgrew that belief system. It just wasn't working. And so I always tell I've said this before, and everybody gets a big chuckle out of this, but that's what I did was that I just did a whole angry about face and turned into this atheist, and nothing happens to you when when you die. You just die and you're in the ground and there's no spirit and nothing goes on. And, as Ian said, spiritual. And I went on like that for a very long time, for years. I call it the angry Catholic syndrome. And just sort of, again, doing a 180 and sort of, doing everything I could to beat up on religion and God and all those things. And so what happened actually right a little bit before my cancer experience, one of my best friends at the time, and she too was at that point, she, refused all spirituality, and she was, an atheist and all this stuff and didn't believe in any spiritual stuff. But she betrayed me because a friend of hers went to this psychic, and the psychic was dead on, and she was so intrigued that she went to the psychic, and the psychic was dead on, and she comes back and brings the information to me. And I'm like, I was so angry at her. I was like, you can't do that. You don't believe in that. How dare you do that, and was really angry with her for doing it. She's like, but she was dead on. And I was like, crap, now I have to go. And I knew I did. And sure enough, I go to this one specific psychic, and she was very, very good. She was really good with the names. Which is fascinating, meaning I sat down and right away she was like, okay, who's Betty? That's my mother. Okay, who's Susan? That's my sister. Okay, who's John? Well, that was my father. Well, who's Andrew? She was really, each psychic, again, everything is individualized, and different psychics, and Reverend Lynn and I have talked a long time, many times on the show about, what the true definition of psychic is, and it really is just soul, what is called soul information, just your spirit's information, and everybody is psychic, as we did 2 shows ago and talked about that. But we've been taught to cut ourselves off and not listen to it. We have different names for it, like my gut feeling or my intuition. But in Western cultures, much of Western culture is highly discouraged, and we're made fun of and poked fun at for that. And so at a young age, quickly we learned to kind of close all those senses down. So, and I was one of them. But I couldn't deny when I went to this woman and I said, either this woman is pulling information from, the ethers or somewhere, or perhaps she's got some gift to really read, deep, dark, subconscious things that I have long forgotten about, and maybe she has the ability to do that, but there's something here. And that kind of led me on my journey, and then, I was told to go to another psychic, and I went, and blah, blah, blah. And oddly enough, it was another psychic that I was at a group meeting now, and he could see aura very, very well. And he knew something was up. And he was saying, you kind of like, there's these things in your aura, and there's a lot of pain there, and there was. And he was like, and he was the one that referred me to Lynn. We call her Reverend Lynn, the Athene, who, of course, I studied with then, and I've studied with ever since. But I always call her my rock. My whole cancer journey, she was my rock, and I really leaned on her the heaviest for all the help and spiritual guidance during that time. So, all that to say that I realized, and then, of course, 6 months into my training, I get the diagnosis, and, that's when I realized, there's something going on here more than cancer. This is my question. So I kind of it was if you want to, flat in blanket terms, it was really, a religious journey. And cancer just happened to be the catalyst that was pushing me to such a degree, and particularly the kind of cancer that I had, because they kept saying I was going to be dead in 2 years. So I really had to hit that, push the pedal to the metal and really find this information out and find out, what was going to work for me. But cancer was just, sort of the motor engine pushing me through towards this information and in essence just pushing me back into myself and taking an examination and seeing what was going to work for me at that time, what was and what wasn't.
I'd like to read something here. This is from, I'm telling her right now, this got, boom, dropped it into the comment. This is from Vera Barros in Colombia, a post she just posted up. Says it was James Baldwin who said, "You cannot fix what you will not face. The clue to success, successful awareness, is that you only have to look and become aware. You do not have to fix. Once you're aware, you're empowered to choose what works and what does not work." So there you go, and shout out to Colombia and Mr. Baldwin.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Thank you, Colombia, for posting that. And what was the name?
It's Vera Barros.
Thank you, Vera.
Actually, in Spanish, it's pronounced Vera. The E is a A.
Sorry.
Yeah, Vera. The E is pronounced as an A. So that was poor pronunciation on my part, but
that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, huh? And I dropped.
Yeah, do you think? I love. That's awesome. Again, thank you, Colombia. Can you read that first part one more time? You cannot.
You bet. I will read the whole thing. And she posted, it was James Baldwin who said, "You cannot fix what you will not face. The clue to successful awareness is that you only have to look and become aware. You do not have to fix it. Once you are aware, you are empowered to choose what works and what does not work."
Right. That's fantastic. I just love that. I really do. Just because, honestly, yeah. And now, I agree wholeheartly. And it sounds like we're splitting hairs, and perhaps we are, but they're important hairs. Meaning that, you know, it's a fine line to walk, and I've seen this so many times. Once you do become aware of it, you don't have to fix it. You just have to find something else that's going to work for you. Meaning, this is what happens a lot is, and I did it too, and I kind of shifted my attitude a bit. Meaning, once you get that diagnosis, then if you want to fix it, you're still looking at the diagnosis. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So, okay, Cynthia, you have terminal cancer. And for a while I was like, okay, how do I fix terminal cancer? But what's in my consciousness, what's in my vibration is terminal cancer. And then it was actually at the moment that I made the decision that I was going to just go pure alternative medicine, even though the Western medicine doctors were furious with me. Some of them yelled at me. Some of them made me sign, disclaim or waivers or what have you, so my family couldn't come back and sue them. I signed everything, and it was in that moment when I was like, I'm going pure alternative medicine. Then my consciousness shifted. It might just be like a milli-inch, but it shifted to a cure, and there was no more cancer. It was just like, the main focus was heal my body. So my words and my vibration were healing. And sometimes it doesn't make sense, and sometimes people hear it crystal clear. But, focus is everything, and that sometimes it's the tiniest shift. One of my wonderful acting teachers who I love so much, and he still has a great studio, Gary Emhoff, he used to say, and I believe this is true with, acting choices. This is true with all our many choices in life, and it's certainly true of attitude, is that, with the gigantic shifts, like the Titanic or what have you, he said, all you have to do when you're steering that ship, all you have to do is, if you're heading for, he would say, if you were heading for, coming from Europe, you're heading for Canada, all you have to change is 1 degree, and then you'd be heading towards New York. All you have to do is make that tiny little adjustment inside yourself, and you can really change and move into an entire different direction. That was the metaphor, and I've always liked that metaphor, and I've always found it to be so true in my life as well. So, I really love that quote, and there's been more and more talk about, awareness. Here's the problem. Now, let's go over to the solution, because the problem and the solution are on 2 different frequencies. So if it's constant on the problem, it's impossible to see the solution, because that solution is a different frequency. And I've been reading more and more about this from a lot of different scientists and spiritualists and whatnot. And again, as people have asked me, that's what happened is I made that adjustment. And so my consciousness and my focus was on solutions, not what is. I've had some people write into me as well. Okay, so we don't have any call-in, but we certainly have a lot of posts here. That's awesome, you guys. Thank you. You can still call in if you like. We've got 15 minutes left. It's so funny. Some days the lines are jammed, and some days people are shy. So, I'm looking at this one comment, and someone's asking me a question along these lines because they too are going, and I've been working with a number of different people just recently about this, going to the Western medicine and, seeing what's going on at that given time and doing the tests and whatnot. And so you get that information, but just know that's old news. That happened 5 minutes ago. Meaning, again, I'm going to say it, I always say it, but, there's videotapes. Deepak Chopra talks about it. Tony Robbins talks about it, about the people with multiple personality disorder. And some of them, and they have photographed this in the space of 5 to 7 minutes, when they move from one personality to another, their eyes will change from dark brown to bright blue or bright green or something along those lines. Massive changes. So that information is so important to hang on to because we've only just begun to understand cell intelligence and cell connection to source and relationship with source energy, which we call the healing energy or the body's own mechanism to heal itself. There's so many different labels for that, but we're just beginning to scratch the surface of this. But this tells us that our cells have the capability of making an entire change like that between 5 and 7 minutes. The Essenes, the Essenes who wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls, Christ was an Essene, Lynn, who we have on the show a lot, is an Essene, I'm an Essene. They always say a healing, really only takes 5 to 7 minutes, and the healing is done. We go on our healings for an hour just because the human or whoever we're working with wants more information and a human interaction, and that's great too. But these statistics are really important to hang on to all my friends out there who are getting the tests and they're seeing the tests and they're saying this and they're saying that. And more people are talking to me about, first I went for the test and then I went back for the other test and it was kind of negating the first test. And, it's pretty interesting because the people are doing the tests and most of the people who are interpreting these tests don't understand, cell intelligence. They don't have a full understanding of cell intelligence. They don't have a full understanding of how quickly the body can heal itself. And think back, there's got to be a time all of us had something and it was like, oh man, is that going to leave a mark? Oh man, is that scratch is going to take forever? And it turned around and it really didn't take that long, to your surprise. And for whatever reason, your consciousness and your focus just kind of got away from it. So once you weren't looking at the slash in your arm, something else got your attention, then you took your evil curse off your own slash, if you will, and the body started healing much more rapidly. Have you ever had an experience like that, Vinny?
Well, it'd be kind of hard to put in words. I mean, so much that we've been talking about as far as, awareness and the psychic ability. I had a big awareness of it when I was young. And then, of course, through religiosity, it was driven out of me, that's bad, that sort of thing. So
yep.
The last few years, I've allowed myself to become more in tune, to the point where, I can have, I can dream, without being asleep, have the livid dreaming and,
oh yeah.
It's just, so much that we don't understand and society and all the institutions of the world are meant to, drive goodness from the world and from each and every one of us. So I think it's important to do a self-examination and look for all that's good in the world. And don't let hate drive you. First of all, that's going to cause you to be even sicker. And if anything that is not good, it's not going to be from God. So. Right.
Well, I know it's so funny because we're so trained to, and this week has kind of been for me, the week's lesson was not only looking at myself, but others as well, kind of looking out at, how trained we've become to really focus on what's going wrong instead of the million things that are going right. And, Abraham says this whole time-space reality is really set up for wellness. And there's so much wellness than there is lack of it. And when you think about, how many things are going right, I think you've heard this little story, Vinny. I know JJ gets a kick out of it, but, I when I was young and I was doing beauty pageants and I was at Miss Saddleback Valley, and they had just kind of restructured what they call the Orange Crush down in Orange County, where, all of the freeways kind of come together, the 405 and all of them, and the 5, and they all kind of crunch together at this one intersection. And I remember that, the ribbon cutting, and the mayor was saying that at that time, and that was 500 years ago.
I'm laughing. I have mute on. Well, you have timeless beauty. I'll guarantee that.
Well, it was just so interesting, and this is where this shows where my consciousness was when he was saying, 250,000 cars pass through here morning and night. So you have 500,000 cars passing through the Orange Crush back then. I know it's much more now. Well, where my consciousness was at the time was I was like, man, I'd like to set up my own private toll booth, because I would be making $500,000 a day if I just charge each car, $1. But that memory always stayed with me, because now when you go back to it, just kind of trying to, underscore a little bit my point that how much wellness is out there. So you've got this one little area in Southern California, and we got 500,000 cars moving through there. And we have, a few accidents a day, in Southern California. Sometimes just fender benders. So you see my point? How many millions and millions of cars are moving around on these freeways every day? And even if there's 10 accidents, do you see what I'm saying? How much more wellness there is? And of course it has has a great deal to do with the media, and so everything negative is getting poured out at us all the time. That's what I mean by also the awareness of what is being projected onto you, and what are you looking at, and what are you focusing on. That's one, Abraham always says, we don't get up every morning and go, thank God the earth is still spinning in its orbit. Thank God my heart is still pumping. Oh my God, I better bottle up some air because there's a lot of breathers out there today, and I think I'm going to need to stir. There's so many little tiny details of wellness that are continually going on, and because, as I said, we have been so trained, to look at the one thing that's going wrong, and that we're trained to do it, and then look at it and focus and focus and focus, and it's really gotten us off balance. And a great way to live your life is to try to always look for what's going right. Things do go wrong, I'm not saying they don't, but always try to balance that out, and especially with what your body and what is going right with your body also. That's a great focus as well. And be aware, of start more and more and more. In the scene training, it was 1 week we had to go through this training program, and we had to, actually as an Athene, I was going through the training of A Course in Miracles, which that is a wonderful book, but it is a course, and I know there's some of the study groups out there have like that I give the Course in Miracles a shout out, and I was in a study group, and one of the weekly exercises, you got a ton of weekly exercises, and one of them was to walk around with a piece of paper and write down every time we saw a negative ad, campaign, billboard, what have you, just to be, commercial on television, just to be aware of how much, especially in American culture, because of the advertising, because, we're so bombarded with negative messages in the hopes that we will consume out of fear. It's to put us in fear so that we will consume. And certainly we know our good friends over at Big Pharma are, some of the major players as far as that goes. And so when people, I always throw out that statistic as well, that kind of blew Vanessa, one of my sometime co-hosts, it blew her away that day. She didn't know that, statistically at the turn of the century, the 19th century, only 3% of the population had cancer. A lot of people didn't even know about cancer or knew, how it, even if it was something that was infectious or, they didn't know the dynamics of it and whatnot. And now we're like up to 1 in 3 people with cancer. And there's, again, a lot of contributing factors, but in my personal belief, which is just mine, but my belief is that it's all of the negative messages that are out there. Because if you walk around and, cancer, once again, that's your focus. You have a much better chance of getting cancer. I'm an anomaly. Cancer does not run in my family. And there wasn't, nobody had terminal cancer in my family. And so, which was lucky for me because I didn't even fall back on the whole, it's my DNA proclivity to have cancer in my family, which a lot of the scientists now are negating that they're, even some of them that were kind of, putting that information out there are retracting, and they're like, we really don't have the understanding that we thought we did about DNA and genetics and, the very diseases that you may have a proclivity to for or not. And so, that's very encouraging. So just, again, I always say this, just be careful what you're reading and be careful what you're looking at, particularly, again, in American culture, because they really do want us to stay in fear to consume. Not everyone, but there are those companies that are interested in that. So anyway, I'm looking at the time. It flew by again. It's 2:56, and in 2 minutes, I think, or so, the music is going to pipe in. So again, I just want to thank Vinny, my incredible producer, who saves my behind every time. Again, a big shout out to Carol Miller. Thank you so much for your help and your support of me. If you want to contact me, you can contact me on Facebook, J. Cynthia Brooks House of Healing, or it's House of Healing J. Cynthia Brooks. Doesn't matter how you type it in, it comes up. I'm also at J. Cynthia Brooks Official, my Facebook page. I also have a Valara page, Valara being the supplements that I was taking during my, and still do, that were introduced to me through my journey, my cancer journey. And Vincent, would you like to do any contact information?
You can find me everywhere. Vincent Easley. Yeah, Vincent Easley the second. Vince Easley. Vincent Ray Easley the second. What Matters Worldwide right here on UCY.TV Thursday nights. And FYI.
That's your show.
I love to cover that hind ears anytime. So.
You what? Why did I miss that?
I said I'd be glad to cover that hind ears anytime, girl.
He wrote that to me. He wrote that to me in a chat box on Facebook, and I fell on the floor laughing. And Vincent, your show is on Thursday at what time now? It's about 5 California time?
It is 5 o'clock on the left coast, and back east it's 8 p.m. there. That's 1 o'clock over in the United Kingdom for all you folks over there in England. Aye.
1 a.m. or p.m.? 1 p.m. in the United Kingdom.
1 a.m.
It's 1 a.m. in the United Kingdom.
Yeah. So only crackheads listen to me in England live.
Yeah, but those are my favorite people.
Yeah.
And also, it's such a great source of information, you guys, is icurecancer.com. That's Ian Jacqueline's incredible website, gigantic. You can go on there and find all kinds of information. You can watch clips from his movies. And all kinds of great stuff. And you can also contact him on Facebook as well. There's the music. Thank you, everyone, so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for listening in. And thank you for putting out the good word about us. Thank you. And thank you, Vincent.
Love you, Cynthia. Love and peace, y'all. We're out.
Thank you. To you all. Bye-bye.
And I believe in you. I believe in the simple things. In everything you do, I believe in the heavens above, and I believe in truth. I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you.